Just test the sound 1 second. Select it. Let's refresh that. Come on. All right, testing. Come on, man. Testing, testing. All right, testing. All right, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash, for giving me the spirit and time for doing this lesson. All right, Lord willing, it's edifying to the elect. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who I learnt this truth from, who rule well, the leaders of all Israel in these end times, showing us the correct way to salvation. Shalom to you, Arquaf, in order, you few Arquaf, meaning you Israelite sisters that may be watching, okay? And Shalom to you Israelites scattered abroad that may look like these other nations. We see line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Shalom to you brothers teaching on horizon edges, teaching this truth in sincerity and truth, making your calling and election sure. Shalom means peace be unto you, all right? So you see the title of the lesson, the 6G race is needed for the MOTB, which you should know what MOTB means. It means Mark of the Beast, okay? So this 6G race that, is the topic of the flavor of the week, so to speak, it's basically a technology that they need to implement in order for this market to be system to work, because they need super internet basically. Okay, and I'm going to show you a few clips that are going to go into more detail on what the 6G technology is and how it's important for Esau to continue his wicked rulership, right? Which he's not going to, by the way. But they're desperate, so they're scrambling to get this done. They say by 2030, but we ain't got that kind of time. Okay, this man knows he don't have long left, and I doubt it's gonna be 2030 that they're gonna get this rolling. I think it's gonna be, and Lord willing, it's gonna be sooner than that. Okay, because this man is in straits right now, and he has to get this up and rolling, man. But we'll see how it plays out, man. It's all part of the Lord's Yahweh Shem Yahushai's movie, man, so to speak, right? Let me share the screen. So let's play a video to start with. Okay, let's give it full screen layout. So let's see, where's the Trump one? Did I not put it up there? Oh yeah, there it is. All right. So let's play this one, because this is Trump as of late, and his his slip of the tongue. The scriptures say that their tongue shall fall upon themselves, all that see them shall flee away. Lord willing, if I remember, I'll bring that out in a minute. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip just to set this lesson off, right? And I got quite a few, and we'll see how this lesson goes, man, because I've got quite a few things that I want to bring out and bring to your attention that are important for you to know, for you to understand, um, and be firmly rooted in the understanding that the MOTB, meaning the mark of the beast, is the RFID micro C hip, okay, and it is a physical mark, not a spiritual mark, charagma, right? And with all these other camps out there, Israelite camps that teach different doctrines, right? They're going to be confounded in the very near future. So without further ado, let me go ahead and play this, man.
So we're into 6G now. I just finished 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. So we're into 6G now. I just finished 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin?
This is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance. We need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin.
See, you can't make this up, man. Okay. And all these other camps out there teaching you false doctrines, right? You got to keep in mind that the Lord said this would happen, man. He said that many false prophets would arise in the end times and deceive many, okay? But they're mingled amongst the real prophets. But you have to have the Holy Spirit and the spirit of discernment to understand who's who, okay? But ultimately, if your spirit is gravitating toward lies or deception, guile, trickery, then you're not of the elect. You're predestined to be deceived. The blind is leading the blind, and you're all going to fall into a ditch. Okay, but we're in a time now where it's plain to see, it's very evident that what the MOTB is really, it lines up with the technology that they're scrambling to implement, and it's all a part of their NWO agenda. Okay, which has been in the plan for decades. Okay, it's all a plan for Esau to prolong his birthright and enslave the whole of humanity. Okay, get total control. The scriptures speak about how he can never have enough, he can never be satisfied, he gathereth unto himself all people. Lord willing, I'll bring that one out in a minute in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, right? But as you can see in this image, this is what's going to happen to everybody. They want to surveil you, not only through their CCTV cameras that they have everywhere. On the left hand side, they're trying to be like the Most High. The Lord sees everything because his eyes are in every place. But these people have their CCT cameras, but now, it's not enough for them because they can never have enough. So they want to surveil what's going on under your skin. They want to have the ability through their technology, their left-hand technology, to, read your thoughts, know what's going on in your mind. Okay. And it will never stop there. The Lord said if he didn't shorten the days for the elect's sake, there'd be no flesh left, because this man mathematically is headed on a downward spiral. Okay, life gets worse, society gets worse, your bills get higher. There's no end to it. It's just, something's got to give at some point. Otherwise, mathematically, all flesh will die under this man's rule. Okay, but what he wants to do is surveil underneath your skin. All right, let me go ahead and continue the short video.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin?
See, so he's basically dropping hints, man. He's making his tongue fall upon himself. Okay, this is Esau Edom, man, the people in rulership. Okay,
The future Stalins of the 21st century, they could be watching the minds, the brains of all the population all the time, and also they will have the computing power to analyze all that.
And that's why they need this 6G technology, man, because it will take their AI to the next level. Okay, because their artificial intelligence is part of their fourth industrial revolution, man. Okay, this is, you can see how in the past couple of years how this technology has skyrocketed, right? But although it seems like really advanced technology, it's still really primitive. Okay, because if you think about it, like how far would this go if the Lord was to allow this world to go on another 10 years or so? right? You see how quick and advanced this technology has become in the past 2 years, right? So really, if you think about it on a on a level, it's really primitive technology at the moment, you know, kind of like Will Smith when he was eating the spaghetti in that that old viral video of AI, okay? And you can see how far it's advanced. But this technology, this 6G technology is what they need to catapult it into the next onto the next level, basically, right? Onto a higher level.
What's that gonna let you get deeper into someone's skin? I'm telling you, the con is on, and this is the devil's game. These things are really here. It's like Solomon when he thought he could toy around with other gods, and he found out things the hard way. This technology will be used for evil.
Yeah, because Esau don't know how to do good. He wasn't created like that. He wasn't created to be righteous. The scriptures speak about, what the Most High have made crooked, who can make straight, you know? And you can equate that to Esau, man, because the Lord didn't create him to be righteous. The Lord said he created the wicked for the day of evil, right? Basically, to be the villain, to commit evil, or to fulfill the grand plan, right? The bigger picture, the grand scheme of things, all to complete the ultimate purpose of the Lord, man. Because this is his movie. You got to understand there is a perfect balance going on in this world. You got the seed of the righteous, you got the seed of the wicked. And that's what it's all about, man. Okay.
It'll be presented to you as the greatest thing since sliced bread. But you have to take everything they say and invert it. And this man is conning the world into the beast system.
You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
You need to get...
See? Who could forget that? Because they know they're the wicked, okay? And he's playing on the ignorance of his blind followers. When he says things like this, he knows that these elites, they love to boast of their heart's desire. The scriptures speak about that, the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire. But basically, they're boasting in front of your face of who they are and what their plan is. And they know that through your stupidity and ignorance, you're not going to figure it out. But that's where the elect come in, okay? The Lord has set up his prophets in these end times who are the seers, because a prophet was once called a seer, right? We're the ones that see through Esau's bullshit. There's no way of deceiving the elect, man. Okay? And Lord willing, I be a part of that. But, as a man of the Lord, a watchman, our job is to try to help you to see. Okay? But, the elect will see. Okay? So whoever, this video and videos like this, if it resonates with your spirit and you understand, hey, you could very well be a part of the elect, because this world is full of people that are cooked, okay? They're far from understanding what's going on, man. Even amongst Israelites, you got all these different camps that scoff at the truth, because Great Millstone have always told you straight up what the truth is, but they scoff, they rebel, they try to teach false doctrine, and they can't take rebuke. Right, check this video out. I'll play this one next. Check this out.
There's no way that this can be true.
6G's actually been out for a while.
Really?
Yeah. They can measure EEG waves, like phones can measure EEG waves. And that basically can borderline read your thoughts.
Holy
and there's
crap.
a reason why you can get an ad for something in like you were thinking about it. 5G couldn't penetrate deep enough into the cell. And that's why, so what would happen is when all these towers were put up, you'd see kids that were, they would get burns underneath their skin just because the graphene cooks them with.
And the same thing gonna happen when you take that MOTB. The Lord said you're gonna be plagued with a grievous sore. Okay. As a matter of fact, I keep saying, Lord willing, I'll bring these precepts out. Let me just go ahead and do it, right? We'll come back to this video, right? Because this is what's coming to them. This is part of a curse that's going to happen to them that receive this MOTB, okay? It's going to react with your flesh. It's going to do damage, which is going to be a plague of the Lord, man, okay? Forget what scripture it is. We're gonna have to write it, but it won't take you 1 second, right? 3 verse. Oh, this keyboard is rubbish. 1 sec. 3. God. So lucky, it's never been this bad. I literally just changed the battery so this wouldn't happen. So I don't know why this is happening. Come on. All right. You know what? It'd be quicker for me to do it this way. That's the thing about live videos. You have to bear with me, man. Okay, I can't chop this bit out. Just if you want the edification, just stick around, man. It's gonna be worth it anyway. Grievous sore. See, I should know these scripts. I should know this. It's Revelation 16 and 2, right? It's lucky for that. A little delay. Let's get back into it. So it's Revelations 16 2. In fact, let's just start again. Start. So this is Revelation 16, starting at 1. It says, "And I heard a great voice out of the temples saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth." And this is a time of judgment, man. This is when the Lord is going to judge, which is the end times that we're living in now. This is going to happen during the time when people are taking that charagma. Okay. It says, "And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men and women, children, which had the mark of the beast," okay, which is a physical mark. It's going to cause you to have a boil or a sore or a cancer or a tumor or a cyst or something. It's going to be a grievous sore, man. And everybody that receives this is going to get that, okay? Which, I have a theory it could be something to do with maybe a solar flare that they didn't anticipate that reacts with this technology and just throws a spanner in the works, so to speak, causes everybody to get jacked up. But who knows? We'll see when that time comes. But we have our theories, but we know that this prophecy is going to come to pass, man. Everyone that receives that chip in their hand or their forehead is going to get it's going to get irritated really badly. Okay, it's going to be a grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Okay, and you worshiping his image is, you're gonna take the mark if you're one of the ones that worship his image. So basically, in a nutshell, it's everybody that's down with the system and bows down and takes this mark. Okay, you're gonna be plagued with a grievous sore. Just check it. All right, cool. Right, let's continue. So this is the book of Revelations, not that one. Chapter 13 and verse 16. I'm just going to get this out of the way because everybody knows this, but I'm going to bring it out anyway. Let it, drive it home. Repetition is key. That's how it sticks in your head. The cause of all, he being the devil, or Esau that rules this world, the powers that be, these elites. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, meaning everyone, okay, to receive a mark, charagma. It's a physical mark. If you go into the Greek word of mark, you'll get the understanding of what this mark is talking about, because it's not the same mark as in other scriptures. There's other scriptures that speak about a mark of exemption from judgment, which is the wa in the Hebrew, or you got a mark that is also a spiritual mark. So the Thawa is a spiritual mark. You got also a spiritual mark called scopeo, which means to put scope on you. Okay, mark him, like watch that man, type of thing, you know. But this mark right here is different from those two that I just mentioned, and it's a physical mark, which means the etching or cutting into the skin, basically, you know. It says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, which is the MOTB. Let's go to verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, meaning you can't be a part of his society, which he's trying to create, okay? Because they're going to have a whole new transaction or payment method when they do away with cash. It's all going digital because of this digital age, okay? And if you don't accept it, you're going to be an outcast of society, and life's going to get very rough for you, but the Lord will be with his elect. So his elect ain't got to worry about this. You know, it will be challenging time because you're going to be taken way out of your comfort zone. But that's why you got to stock up on faith in these days, because your faith is going to help you get through it. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he, meaning except he that had the mark, okay, the charagma, the chip, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay, just go ahead and close it. This one here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 603 which means 666. And you know, his number is in many places. You know, he drops it in his Google logo, his CERN Hadron Collider logo. He's got it in you got the Google Chrome, like I just said. He's got it in his barcodes, and when you purchase a product, you got the six. You got the 2 bars on the outside, on the left and the right side of the barcode. You got the 2 bars, which represents a 6, and then you got the 2 bars in the middle that represents a 6 also. So he puts his number everywhere. It's all a part of his beast system, man. Okay, and then you can go even deeper into the Chi-Psi stigma and all of that. I thought I had the link up. One second, let's see if I can do this. It's my WhatsApp. This is like meant to have. I didn't get that. All right. So this link right here, it's very informational. Okay, everybody should have this. As a man of the Lord, or a servant, or a teacher, you should have this, or something similar to this. But this one is really good. This has many different links that you can click that go into all different aspects of this MOTB, man, showing you that it is a physical mark. Like I said earlier, the meaningful mark in Revelations 13 and 16 is charagma. It's a physical mark, which is an implantable MOTB, micro C-hip. We got to kind of speak in code at times because they're going to crack down on, you know, certain buzzwords, certain keywords. They're gonna the algorithm's gonna flag it, just like, you know, during the pandemic you couldn't say the VAX, you had to say Maxine or whatever. You had to speak in code, okay? Otherwise your video get taken down. We're coming into that time again because they don't want you knowing this information. This is the next step in their agenda, okay? So It says implantable microchips and 666, epi, charagma, and chi-stigma. Okay. There are many people out there pointing to implantable micro C-hips to fit the role of the MOTB. Most of the time, biblical evidence supports such claims is lacking. One may even begin to think that such support doesn't exist. But if we look closely into the Greek words directly associated with the MOTB, such as epi, charagma, and chi-stigma, it becomes clear that biblical support for such a mark is very strong, meaning a physical mark. Okay. Now, I would put this link in the description for this particular website, which I wish I could, but you see the way YouTube works, you cannot you cannot put external links. Most people can't put external links. You have to go through all these different security checks and stuff like that in order to do that. And I don't think I'm able to. So if anybody wants this, the link to this, I will find a way. Okay, because us men of the Lord are wise men. We will figure something out. I will find a way, Lord willing, to get this to you if you want it. So just drop a comment in my comment board if you want to get a hold of this, and I'll get it to you, man. I will find a way. Okay, Lord willing. I gotta say, Lord willing. But it's very informational. It goes into the fact that it's a physical mark, as you see right there. This is the device, the C-hip, that is what they say is the size of a grain of rice, which I believe to be slightly bigger, maybe 2 or 3 times the size of a grain of rice. And that's going to be under your skin. They say size of a grain of rice to try to, you know, pacify you into getting it. Like, oh, it won't hurt. It's just the size of a grain of rice. No, it's thicker than that. Okay, it's got all kind of technology in it. You know, it's even got what they call bio bond right here, as you see, bio bond, and that's like a you know, kind of like a capsule, like when you take in a supplement, and you know the capsule will dissolve in your stomach. This is similar, but when this goes under your skin, it will literally dissolve and bond with the tissue in your hand. Okay, so that you can't take it out without surgery. Okay, that's why. Let me just read this right here, give you a bit of better understanding. And this is probably what's going to cause. This could be what causes the grievous sore, whatever they got in this biobond madness. It says Strong's definition of among really starts to make sense when one considers the patented biobond. And as you can see here, you can click on a link which will give you more info on it. And if you just hover over that link, it says tumors in long-term rat studies associated with microchip animal identification devices. Okay, so basically it was causing rats to have tumors. It says the patented biobond coating that enables the surrounding tissues to fuse with an otherwise smooth glass capsule, because the rest of it is like smooth glass. But then they got this condom. It's like a Johnny wrapped over the top of it. And yeah, that bonds with your tissue so that you cannot pull it out, right? It says it fuses with an otherwise smooth glass capsule. It says BioBond was the solution to the problem of the RFID micro C-hips migrating when implanted under the skin of household pets, meaning, you know, if it didn't have this biobond, it could move around. You get it in your hand, next thing it ends up in your wrist over time. Okay, so they got this biobond coating, which is probably, you know, it's a theory. I'm not saying it's true, but it's a theory that that could be what causes the grievous sore. But we will see. Okay, well, I hope I don't see. You know what I mean? But them that take it are gonna see. They're gonna f around. They're gonna faffo. They're gonna f around and find out, right? It says this coating makes MOTB implants very difficult to remove without surgery. In other words, like the Verichip, the MOTB is likely to remain permanently once in place. Now, you got the charagma, meaning the MOTB. It goes into the meaning of the Strong's Concordance word, charagma, and it breaks it down, goes into charux, right? Literally tells you everything, okay? And if you keep going down, you got chi psi stigma, right? This is the chi, the X, psi, which is looks like a snake, and then stigma, which also looks like an S, right? So if you read it from stigma chi, psi to chi, right? It's like SEX, and they got that symbolism, which when you look at the numerology of it, it equals 666. That's the wisdom that it's speaking about, for you to figure out in Revelations 13 and what was it? 13 and 18, where it says, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, right? Which goes into Chi Psi stigma, which is basically hinting to the fact that it's a physical mark, okay? Now, anyway, enough on that. Like I said, if you want the link to this website, let me know in the comment board, and I will, more than likely, Lord willing, I'll do my best to get it to you. All right. Anyway, let's continue because there's more videos and stuff I want to show you. We just quickly check comment board, make sure no one's commenting. Good to go. Right. So let's see. Where was we at? So we saw that one. Oh, no, actually we didn't even finish that. Let's watch that one again, right? Because there was more meat on that.
There's no way that this can be true.
6G's actually been out for a while.
Really?
Yeah. They can measure EEG waves, like phones can measure EEG waves. And that basically can borderline read your thoughts.
Holy
And there's
crap.
a reason why you can get an ad for something in like you were thinking about it. With 5G.
And that's happened to me once or twice, man. I remember specifically thinking I wanted some chrome paint, maybe spray paint or whatever I could find that was like the shiniest chrome paint I could find, right? And I didn't even say it out loud. I specifically remember I never said it, but I was thinking it. Next thing I know, I'm on social media. It could have been later that day or a day later or something. It was very soon after, like a day or two. And I'm seeing ads for chrome paint. And all I did was think it. I never said it out loud. It was just a thought going through my head. Oh, I need chrome paint for such and such a project. And I'm seeing adverts for chrome paint whereas I never would ever see anything trying to sell me chrome paint, something random like that. So, hey, this has some level of truth to it, man. Esau's got technology because this is what he's been working on. He's trying to get under your skin, trying to get into your thoughts.
Couldn't penetrate deep enough into the cell. And that's why, so what would happen is when all these towers were put up, you'd see kids that were, they would get burns underneath their skin. It's because the graphene cooks them from the inside out.
Jeez.
And this is what I've been explaining to people is your body's a liquid crystal, and a crystal is basically an antenna.
When he says graphene, he means graphene oxide, which was in the juice.
So you have hundreds of thousands of millions of crystals in your body, and that's how your body communicates with itself. So how do they shut these things down? Heavy metals. You eat things that are improper, disrupts the communication between the body.
Yeah, heavy metals is in a lot of our foods. Okay. Take a box of cornflakes, crush it up into like fine powder, then zip it back, get a strong magnet, rub it around the bag of crumbs, and you'll see all the fibers coming out of it. I haven't necessarily put it to the test, but I've seen videos on it, multiple videos of people doing it. And I remember specifically because I have mercury fillings in my mouth, and I can feel the reaction from the metal when I would eat cornflakes or frosted flakes back in the day. Okay, now I can't say I don't ever, my bread is defiled. I can't say I haven't eaten it since then. I try to avoid that type of mess, but every once in a while, I'm just like, F it, man. The Lord got me. Lord willing.
You get into a state of consumption. Your autonomic functions shut down. It's so simple, but they overcomplicate it. And then you're talking to some doctor, you have a cancer disease, and there's a bunch of doctors in the room. They're saying stuff that's going over your head. Next thing you know, you're signing a document to get surgery.
I'll be the first to admit that some of that is really out there. So take all of this with a grain of salt, but I can definitely relate to the part about seeing ads after I've thought about something. And no, I'm not talking about I said something to somebody about it, or I searched for it before, or my microphone on my phone heard me say something. I'm literally saying none of that happened, and exactly what I was thinking about showed up on my phone multiple times. Has that ever happened to you? About the rest of this, I'm really not sure.
So yeah, you know, yeah, it has happened to me, like I just explained. And I'm sure it's happened to other people, but this is what Esau wants to do. He wants to get in your thoughts. He wants to get, they've got technology now where they can see your dreams, or they can give you a prison sentence, get in your mind and make you serve 10 years in like the matter of 10 minutes or something like that, you know? And that's where life is headed under this man's rulership. Okay, because he's wicked as all hell and he can never have enough. Let's go ahead and bring that out. It's Habakkuk 2, starting at 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch as a watchman, as a prophet of the Lord. This is what we do. Okay, the watchman basically warns you of impending danger, and that's what we do through these lessons. So we're watchmen, we're standing on our watch. Okay, it says, I will stand on my watch and set me upon the tower, watchtower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So, we basically bring out these lessons through the Holy Spirit. Whenever the Lord puts the Spirit on us to do certain things, touch on certain topics, that's what we do for the protection of his elect, right? Habakkuk 2 and 2, it says, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it, right? So to run is to be quickened or made alive. So this is what happens when you get the understanding, right? It says, for the vision, right, which is the prophecies, is yet for an appointed time, but at the end, so it's for the end times. That's the appointed time. It says, at the end it shall speak and not lie. And now the visions, the prophecies are speaking loud and clear. We can see that where this technology is headed and what their purpose of it is. The purpose of this technology is for world domination and perpetual enslavement of the whole of humanity, because they can never have enough, and ultimately to prolong their rulership, their birthright. It says, though it tarry, right? It seems like it's taking a while. It says, wait for it. Okay, you got to be patient, man. Okay, well, I know we've been bringing out these prophecies and sounding like a broken record for the longest, but just keep waiting, man. All right. It says, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. It's gonna come. It's gonna happen. It's gonna come to pass. Right? I think that's no, let's read on. Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul, and this he, this him, this guy it's speaking of is Esau Edom, okay, the villain of the Bible. Okay. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. Okay, he's lifted up in pride because because everything's going his way. According to his NWO agenda, everything seems to be prospering for this man. Okay, so he's lifted up in pride. He thinks he's going to be like the Most High. He thinks that, he thinks he's got this on lock. He thinks he's never going to see the loss of children. He's never going to be taken out of power, but he's not right. Okay, he's a devil. It says, but the just, which is the elect, shall live by his faith. Okay, that's why we even do these lessons, because we have faith that the Lord is going to reward us and that his word is not going to go out void. It says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, which is his philosophies and ideologies that he pushes upon the world. It says he is a proud man. Okay, his head's lifted up to the clouds. It says, neither keepeth at home. That's because he's in everyone's country. He's everywhere he don't belong. getting melanoma in the land of Israel right now. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, okay, and is as death, meaning this man spreads death everywhere he goes. It says, and cannot be satisfied. That's why taxes go up. That's why inflation keeps increasing. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. So, yeah, life just keeps getting worse under this man, and he's not going to allow you to live off the grid. He wants you all living under his system. That's why he's gathering all nations and all people, and he's ultimately going to fulfill that through his MOTB, his MOTB system, right? Which he needs this 6G technology to get that on and popping, right? It says, actually, I'm gonna leave that there. I don't think we need to read any more of that. Anyway, you can go ahead and play another clip because we got a few more I want to get through. This it's not in a particular order, but I think I have a general idea of what I want to play next. Check this one out because this one is going to speak more about how they're trying to surveil you under your skin, just like Donald Trump said in the clip I played earlier.
I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface.
Wow.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
See? So he's saying that you won't need a cell phone in the future, in the very near future, because and check out the writing up there, the heading. It says that they're trying to get this popping by 2030, just like I said earlier. You know, they got that Agenda 2030 thing going on. Okay, so they want this fully implemented by then. You know, because Esau knows he don't have long left to rule. As a matter of fact, we'll come back to this quick video before I forget. I want to bring out that preset, right? Because that's in the book of Revelations, chapter 12. Yeah, chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Okay, so now it's time for the elect to rejoice, because we know that our salvation is nearer than when we believed. It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, Esau Edom, is come down unto you having great wrath, great anger, right? Because he knows, let me just read it. Because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Okay, so this is why he's coming down with draconian measure right now. Okay, he's getting ready to wage war on free speech, which we don't really have anyway, but the little freedom that we do have to do these lessons and stuff, he's gonna dead all that, man. He's getting ready to make a move on that. Okay, and he's gonna use the anti-Sem buzzword, you know, as his tool, you know, as his wicked device, his scheme, his wiles to deceive you into giving up free speech. You know, you can't just say anything on the internet because it's going to offend a certain group of people, the small hats, the fake JEWs, man. Okay. Lord forbid you say anything about them. But you could have rap songs talking about kill a nigga all day, but you switch it around and say the JEW word. Nah, they ain't having that. Okay, so they're getting ready to come down hard because they know that they have a short time to rule. It's all about rulership. This man's trying to prolong it by enslaving everybody. Okay, so they need to get this popping. That's why there's that race, this big race for 6G, man. Okay, which I believe China's in the lead as it stands right now. Okay, but this will be implemented worldwide. Okay, so we'll leave that there. That's all I wanted to bring out on that. Let's go back to that video. Play it from the beginning again. It's only a minute long.
I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface.
Wow.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
And one of the important statements we, I think, made at our most recent developers conference is that we believe that one of the big advantages of augmented reality is actually solving problems here on Earth. And it will be things like having glasses and being able to translate as you speak with glasses. And those are very close.
Holograms will be very, very high quality in the era of 6G. I've already seen 5G based hologram demonstrations. They already work, but then with the next generation technology, I mean, we could be having this meeting so that in reality we would be sitting in different parts of the world. All right. Well, I've enjoyed.
See, and that's that's part of the reason why they're trying to get this on and popping so bad, because they're getting giddy and excited. They're getting a little stiffy over the idea of what this technology can do. You know, the riches it can bring them, the quality of life it will bring these elites, and they've got videos of them in these same World Economic Forum meetings. Which, when you go into World Economic Forum, you got the O here, you got the O there, and you got the O there, and you got this slash going through it. And the spiritual eye can see that that is a 666. See, because this man's number, the number of the beast, is everywhere when dealing with Esau Edom. It's hidden in plain sight. But you know, they're getting giddy and excited about what this technology can do for them, and they know, according to prophecy, that they don't have long left to try to pull this off, because they know what the prophecies say, that, you know, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, meaning that their rulership's coming to an end and we're getting ready to take over and take over everything they have, basically, right? As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and bring that out, because it lines up with what I just brought out in Revelations 12 and 12, how this man don't have long left to rule, so he's coming down with draconian measure. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, right? You can start at 7. In fact, I'll start at 7. Let's just go fly through it quick, just to give you context. 2nd Ezra 6, starting at 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Meaning, you know, when is going to be the end of the world, basically. It says, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth, meaning the end of this world and the beginning of the new world to come, the golden age, the kingdom of heaven. You know, some people call it age of Aquarius. Really, it's talking about the kingdom of heaven. Okay, that's what's coming next. It's an everlasting rulership that's going to be ruled by Jacob, and it's gonna mention that in just a sec. So what he's inquiring, Ezra's is inquiring, is when it's going to be. You know, he wants to know when this is all going to take place, right? But we're living in it. We're on the front lines. We got front row seats of the end times, man. Okay, this is a very important time in history, a very pivotal moment in history. Okay, because this is the end of so-called white supremacy and the beginning of, I guess, so-called brown supremacy, you could say. Because everybody will get their melanin back in the kingdom of heaven when we get them new bodies, because melanin protects you from the sun. That's normality. To have no melanin is abnormality. Okay, it's a deficiency, it's a deformity. 2nd Ezra 6 and 8 says, and he said unto me, right after he inquired, you know, when is going to be the end of the first and beginning of the new earth. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, right? Jacob and Esau were born of Isaac. It says, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. You can read this in the book Genesis chapter 25, starting at verse 19 on down. Okay, it goes into more detail on that. But this is basically giving you more context as to why that happened, because it didn't explain during that chapter in Genesis why he held on to his brother's heel as they were born. Okay, Jacob and Esau. If you don't know, Esau is the so-called white man. Jacob is the so-called black man, which, you know, ended up becoming through his future generations, ended up becoming the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that you see in the world today. But you do have some so-called white people and other nations that go back to Jacob too, because we've been scattered among the nations, right? So he held the first heel of Esau. So the so-called black man held the so-called white man's heel when they were born. The white man came out first, right? And this is the point in verse 9, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. It says, for Esau is the end of the world. So this is why he held on to the world. It was symbolic of a transfer of rulership, no break in between. Okay. It says, for Esau is the end of the world. Esau came out first. He was the first to rule. And he's the one ruling at the end of the world. so-called white man and his, his elites. It says in Jacob, which is the poor, the people in the ghettos and slums at the bottom of society, looked down upon, demonized, slandered. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, meaning that we're the meek that are getting ready to rule the earth next, and the world's going to see what it's like under our rulership. And that's what the Bible calls kingdom of heaven, because we're going to do it right. We're going to learn from the mistakes of so-called white man. We're going to do it proper, man. All right. So, so they want this technology implemented under the skin. The new phone of the future will be under the skin. Now, these people, they don't believe in fact, let me go ahead and play this first, okay, before I jump the gun. This is the one I need to play. So this is about 6 minutes long. I don't think I'm going to play the whole thing because I think the more juicy bits is in the beginning. So check this out.
We've come a long way in the digital age. Just a decade ago, buffering videos tested our patience. Today, we stream in 4K. We make instant video calls and control smart homes with a tap. So what is next? 6G, a technology that won't just connect us faster, but in ways we've never imagined. Holographic conversations, real-time AI assistants, and an internet more powerful than ever. It will all be just a tap away. But with great power comes great competition. Countries and tech giants are in a fierce race to lead the 6G revolution. So who's ahead? Who's falling behind? Where does India feature in this race? And most importantly, how will this impact you? Our next report tells you.
Now, before we go into that next report, let me just add my 2 cents, right? Because part of what they need to also implement in the world in order to have this 6G new AI technology and all that, and basically like a system update, like your phone needs an update every damn month. This is the world's update, okay? The world needs an update for ESO's plan to succeed. Now, part of their plan, part of their update is to throw up data centers all over the damn earth, right? They're throwing them up like McDonald's or like petrol stations. And these things are extremely destructive to the world, to society, to the environment. And they're polluting the world. They're using thousands of gallons of water per day or something like that. I forget the exact numbers and all that, but it's using large amounts of water because they need the water to cool down these machines, right? And it's also pumping out lots of toxic smoke in the sky. It's very destructive to the earth, and they're placing them mainly where in populated areas where Jake is populating the area, man, where Jake lives. Okay, Jake meaning you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Jake is short for Jacob, if you don't know. Anyway, let me go ahead and continue.
Imagine a world where you could talk to your best friend as a hologram. Cars could drive themselves perfectly, and doctors could perform surgeries via robots.
See, because this 6G is going to help this AI technology. It's like an upgrade for this AI technology. It's going to take that AI technology to the next level, to the point where you're going to have flying cars. They're going to have holographic motorways in the sky, holograms in the sky. You can see billboards of McDonald's everywhere you go in the sky. You know what I mean? Esau is just, all he's going to do is wickedness with this. Anything to bring in more revenue, okay? He ain't going to care about the environment or how it makes it's an eyesore everywhere you go. He's just giddy and excited about the next level of wealth that it's going to bring him.
Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? Well, that's what 6G promises to bring to life. If 5G was like upgrading from a bicycle to a sports car, then 6G is like getting a spaceship. It will be faster, it will be smarter, and it will connect us in ways that are unimaginable right now. So, what exactly is 6G? It stands for Sixth Generation Wireless Technology. Think of your internet as a highway. Right now, with 5G, we have wide, fast roads where many cars can travel quickly, but there's still some traffic sometimes. And not everything moves perfectly.
Hey, do you clock that? That ain't by coincidence. Look at the license plate number, man. Of all the license plates, why would they focus in on that? You see, that's the mark, that's the name of the number of the beast right there in plain sight. Like I said, you gotta have the eye to spot this because they put it right in your face all the time. You can go on eBay shopping for a toy for your child and you'll see 666 somewhere in there. Okay. The Kaisai stigma. They got it everywhere. Okay. They don't do that by coincidence. That ain't by chance. That's by design. Okay. Because they're letting you know that this is where it's headed. This is part of the beast system. Okay. But the wise are going to understand this. The simple, these people in these other camps saying it's a spiritual mark. They ain't got a clue what's going on, man. Okay, and they're going to be so confounded in the days to come, man. These people ain't got the answers, man.
6G will be like building bigger highways, that too in the sky. Cars will fly and never get stuck.
See, they want highways in the sky so that you can get to point A to point B quicker, or to bring him more revenue, basically, man. Okay, because as soon as they start throwing up motorways and trains and stuff, this man, he acquired a lot of wealth through that. You can get from one end of the earth to the another in a lot quicker than horse and carriage. You know, now he's want to take it to the next level with drones and single manned flying vehicles and taxis and stuff. And this is gonna be for the rich. Okay, you poor people are gonna get a universal basic income. Sitting in your house getting fat and being fed propaganda while you take a vacation on your damn headset, your virtual reality headset, and they get to take real vacations. Okay, because you can't use up but so much carbon. You got to watch out for your carbon footprint. So you're only allowed to travel within a 15-minute radius. This is how he wants it, man. This one's already a prison planet. This man wants to take it to the next level.
6G uses super high frequency signals called terahertz waves. They can send data incredibly fast, up to 1 terabit per second. That is 1,000 times faster than 5G. It's so fast that you could download an entire movie in just 1 second.
Ooh. Makes it sound so exciting. Oh, you could download a movie in a second. Oh, no, I'll wait. I'm good, thanks. I don't mind waiting. you know, this man's he's gonna use celebrities and sellouts to push it as the next best thing, and the simple are gonna jump on board as they always do, just like they did the VAX during the pandemic.
Most importantly, 6G will connect everything, not just phones and computers, but also homes, cars, factories, and even entire cities. So who is leading the race? China has the lead right now. In March this year, Beijing released its national development goals. Cultivating the 6G industry is one of them. It's conducted successful satellite-to-ground laser communication tests that achieved data transmission rates of 100 gigabits per second. It has set technological standards for 6G. Major companies like Huawei and ZTE are also heavily involved. The government has also established a national working group focused on 6G.
See, all these countries are fighting each other, but they're all in agreement when it comes to this technology, okay? Because one thing that they are all in agreement together with is to make sure that we don't rise up and rule. So they're going to use this to further, their kingdom, even though they're fighting because, they don't know what they're doing. They're all a bunch of low IQ individuals, right? When it comes to righteousness and governing the earth in the right way, they ain't got the answers, man. But they're all in agreement that, you know, they need to get this technology on and popping, right? I want to pull up a quick scripture in the book of one sec. Check. All right, we're good to go. Hour. All right, cool. We got much left to do anyway. We're gonna wrap this up in a minute. But I want to bring out the book of Proverbs. Chapter 22, 3. It says, a prudent man, let's see if we can just quickly pull up the Google definition of prudent. So prudent, it says wise, well judged. So basically a wise man, okay? A man that's clued up. He's got his wits about him. He's got his marbles, okay? He's all there, right? A wise man. So a prudent man foreseeth the evil. We can see what's coming. Okay, we're wise enough to, you know, understand the times we're living in. We know that the Lord is coming back soon. He's not coming back in 1,000 years. We ain't got another 20 years and all that some people like to say could come back 20 years from now. Nah, man. No. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. We hide ourselves under the, you know, in this truth. You know, this is our, you know, like a small sanctuary for us, man. It says, but the simple pass on and are punished. So you have two types of people. You have a prudent and you have the simple. Most people are in the category of being simple, and they're all about to be punished, man. Okay, there's scriptures that speak about that too. It says in fact, no, that's it on that. Right. Let me go ahead and let's see. Yeah. Okay. Right. So let me go ahead and play this next video real quick. Which one is it? I think it might be this one. Yeah.
Just as God in the Bible designs and creates animals and plants and humans according to his wishes. Now we are learning how to design and create life.
Yuval Harari thinks big for a living. Not so long ago, he was an obscure history professor, but his 2014 book, Sapiens, changed all that. He explored the past, cramming 150,000 years of human history into 400 pages.
Authority will shift.
So they're putting this little weasel, this little rat on a pedestal as if he's some wise guru, some almighty wise man that has the answers. And this man is just nothing but a mo, a flamer, okay, a British cigarette, a FAG, right? And I'm going to prove that in just a sec. But this man, you know, he's a nobody, okay? He's going to get crushed when the Lord comes. He's going straight into slavery. Him and everybody like him. But he is the voice of the elites, okay? He's a puppet for the elites, you know? The one they send out there in the front lines on the camera and say, yeah, tell the world what we want you to tell them. And these people look up to him like he's some great wise man, when really he's a fool, okay? And you'll see in a minute where I'm going with this.
Transforming himself into a literary phenomenon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again Yuval Noah Harari.
See, these heathen, they're big in these philosophies that people like him push out in the world. They put that kind of talk on a pedestal, man. That's why these people need to go in slavery, okay? These people need to be subjected because they ain't right. And the world will never be right with their influence in it.
Name dropped by the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and Barack Obama.
The other book that I really enjoyed, a book by an Israeli author, Yuval Harari.
His follow-up book, Homo Deus, tackled the future, elevating Harari to a sort of digital visionary. Now he's back with his take on the present day. His new book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, explores the influence of algorithms on our everyday lives.
Whatever. Anyway, I
The
want to
Middle
get
East,
to...
the
Here we
Middle
go.
you need
Hold
will
on.
affect and everyday.
There we go. Right, so just check out the rhetoric, the wine that he's spewing, that the world is buying and soaking up. Just check it out, man. It's total contrary to the Lord, to the ways of righteousness, man.
You don't have any answer in the Bible what to do when humans are no longer useful to the economy.
See, because they want AI and robotics to take over, okay? Because it's more efficient. It brings in more revenue and power. Humans get sick, they get tired, they take breaks, okay? We ain't got spiritual bodies in this world, but you know, these robots are like spiritual bodies on the left-hand side because they don't get tired, they don't get sick, you know? And that's the workers that he wants in order to bring him wealth and power. It's all for a selfish purpose, man, okay?
You need completely new ideologies, completely new religions, and they are likely to emerge from Silicon Valley or from Bangalore and not from the Middle East. And they are...
This man, see, they speak proudly, man, okay? Anything to defy the Lord and to make a mockery of our power, man.
Are likely to give people visions based on technology. Everything that the old religions promised, happiness and justice and even eternal life, but here on earth with the help of technology and not after death with the help of some supernatural being.
Yeah, so might as well read this, right? Because this does actually relate to, you know, the wicked rhetoric that they're spewing. This little gutter rat weasel is spewing. It says in Isaiah 14, starting at 13, thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend unto heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's key right there. Okay. This is their inward thought that they think they're going to be like gods in the earth. They think they're going to be on a level of the Most High. Okay. Through their left hand witchcraft and technology and pseudoscience. It says, I'll be like the Most High. And the Lord is basically replying and said, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, which basically is talking about they're going into slavery and then destruction. And it's not going to end well for them, okay? Because the pride of their hearts deceived them, man. Hurry up.
What are humans for?
As far as we know, for nothing.
See? So the Lord's creation is meaningless. Like the Lord didn't know what he was doing. What are humans for? You have no value in his eyes. And this is, you know, like I said, this is the man they put out there as the voice of the elites. Okay. Like we're the voice of the Lord, you know, the prophets telling you the ways of righteousness, the ways to life. This man is, you know, the voice of the wicked, the adversary, the devil, spewing you the ways of death. Okay. That, you know, human life has no value. Just use them as resources, as batteries, or as a method to make you some wealth and riches, and then discard us like trash. We're just a barcode. We're just a number in their eyes, a cog in their wheel, man.
I mean, there is no great cosmic.
You see how everyone's giggling? When he said that humans had no worth, these people are fools, okay? But these people sat in this meeting, soaking up everything he's saying. They're down with the agenda too, man. They're the heathen, and they need to go into slavery, man. And they will. Thus saith the Lord. We run it back slightly. Check this.
As far as we know,
So watch him giggle when he says that, you know, humans have no purpose. Check how they giggle, man.
for nothing. I mean, there is there is no great cosmic drama, some great cosmic plan that we have a role to play in it. And we just need to discover what our role is and then play it to the best of our ability. This has been the story of all religions and ideologies and so forth, but as a scientist, the best I can say, this is not true. There is no universal drama with a role in it for Homo sapiens. If you repeat a lie often enough, people will think it's the truth, and the bigger the lie, the better.
And the lies are coming from that, because they're the wicked, okay? They don't speak the truth, okay? Let's just minimize this. We'll close it out because we're going to continue where we were. Let's get the book of Psalms. Yeah, I think it's Psalms. 58. Right. Just trying to say that he's basically hinting that, you know, us men of the Lord ain't got the truth. They got the truth, right? But let's see what the Bible says about them. Who's the real liars, right? Psalms 58 and 3, the wicked, right, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, starting with their elites, like that gutter rat weasel that you're seeing on the screen, where you just saw on the screen. The wicked are estranged from the womb. What's that word? Let's just look up the Google definition. Curiosity, right? A person that's alienated. Let's see. Okay. So you have different, when it comes to wife and husband, you got a wife or husband that no longer lives with their spouse, they're estranged. But the real definition we want to lean on, which is referring to the scripture, is like alienated. Okay, is the best way to put it. These people are alienated from the right way, from the womb, meaning they're born crooked. Okay, it says the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. See, these people are born liars, man, because they were created to be that way. They're the villain of the Bible. Okay, the scriptures say that the Lord made all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. So this is the reason why they were created. Let's go ahead and pull that up. I don't know the scripture. Just bear with me. I'm gonna use my phone and dig it out. It won't take me a sec. Just bear with me, Salakia, for that. Okay. Wicked day evil. So it's Proverbs 16 and 4. Here we go. So this is what the Lord says. It says Yahweh, the Lord in all caps is Yahweh, his name. It says Yahweh have made all things for himself. You know, everything in creation was created for the Lord, for his purpose, right? So what was the purpose of the white man? Is it to live side by side and be happy and live in harmony with us? No. They've proven more than ever, especially in these end times, they're showing their ass. They're showing their true colors, how much they think of other cultures and people. They don't know how to live in harmony with other people. They want you deported. It says Yahweh have made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked, Esau, for the day of evil. So this is the reason why they were created, is for the day of evil, which we're living in that day of evil now. And they're getting ready to really show their horns, okay, even more than they already have. under Trump's, the cruel Lord's reign of terror. Let's jump back to this. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So these people are natural born liars, man. Okay. Let's go back to this video. Okay. Let's run it back just slightly because he's trying to convince you that we're the liars and they have the truth.
There is no universal drama with a role in it for Homo sapiens. If you repeat a lie often enough, people will think it's the truth, and the bigger the lie, the better. Because people won't even think that, oh, something so big can be a lie. And I think that fake news have been with us for thousands of years. Just think of the Bible. But that's
Wow. Wow. Did he really just say that? I mean, is it a surprise? Because according to the Bible, these people are the devil. Okay, they're the children of Satan. They have the spirit of Satan in them, and you know they're adverse to the ways of the Lord. When you go into the meaning of Satan, it means adversary. These people defy the Lord through their actions and through their lips. Okay, they want to push the Lord out the picture. That's why the Lord is basically raising up a group of raising up the resistance, so to speak, which is us and the people that follow us. Okay, the ways of the truth. Now, I want to show you something real quick. We'll go back to that video. I've looked up the word Satan in AI. Right. So I said, what does the word Satan mean? Did this at 1:48 before I started this lesson. It says the word Satan originates from the Hebrew term shatan. I think it's shatan, if I'm not mistaken, which literally means adversary. See? So they're adverse, meaning they oppose the way of the Lord. And it means accuser, because these people are the accuser of the brethren. Okay, they accuse us of being hateful when really we're spreading truth. They accuse us of being the problem of the earth and the reason for all problems. You know, they slander the hell out of us, man. Okay, and this is what he does. He accuses the Lord of, doing it wrong. They have a better way. So they're coming in the spirit of Satan. These are the children of Satan, man. It says it derives from the Hebrew verb Satan, which means to obstruct or to oppose or to act as an enemy. See? And that's all these people have done. Okay, they've more than shown who they really are and that they oppose the ways of the Lord, man. They're trying to make artificial intelligence the new god of the world. It says in the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, Satan is not originally a proper name, but a common noun or title. It often appears as Hashatan, the adversary, referring to a heavenly figure acting as a prosecutor or tester under the Lord's authority, because basically Satan is an angel on the left-hand side. He's still an angel of the Lord. An angel is a messenger or somebody that does the will of the Lord. Okay, they don't have free will. Okay, and it's telling you example, e.g., in the book of Job, where the Satan challenges Job's faith, but with the Most High's permission, because he is a servant of the Lord. He can't do his own free will. Okay, but the point being that the word Satan, this is why we say that they're the devil. These people are the children of Satan, is because they oppose the right way. They're the adversary. It means adversary, meaning they're adverse to nature or to the ways of the Lord, the way of creation. Okay, they think they have a better way, and they openly declare that through their proud speech. Let's go ahead and hear a little bit more of this rhetoric.
there is a concern.
Yeah, that's a good preset right there. I think this is what, End Time Revelations. I don't know who that is, but they're on point with some of these precepts they put up. So this is Psalms 14:1. The fool have said in his heart, meaning your mind, that there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works, and there is none that doeth good, that does good. So if you don't believe, if you say in your mind there is no God, you know, we create our own future and our own path and all that, you're not a spiritual person and you're really a fool. The Bible is calling you a fool if you have that mentality that there is no God.
One option that some people talk about is that only a catastrophe can shake humankind and open the path to a real system of global governance. And they say that we can't do it before the catastrophe, but we need to start laying the foundations so that when the disasters strike, we can react quickly. But people will just not have the motivation to do such a thing before the disaster strikes. So the next step is we turn our gaze inwards and we say, okay, gaining control of the world outside us did not really make us satisfied. Let's now try to gain control of the world inside us. This is the big, really big project.
See, they wanna gain control of the inside of you. Okay, they wanna surveil under your skin. Control. They wanna eventually control you. You know, like a robot. That's why they're trying to, you know, they have a transhumanism agenda, which if you look up that word transhumanism, it means to, you know, it's trans, but it's transhumanism, meaning they want to merge man with machine. Okay.
Science and technology and industry in the 21st century will be to try and gain control of the world inside us.
It's through that MOTB, through that charagma.
To learn how to engineer and produce bodies and brains and minds. These are likely to be the main products of the 21st century economy.
See, they want to be able to eventually produce their own type of human population, basically to create a way that's adverse to the ways that the Lord made it. They're in their mind, the Lord didn't do it right. We have a better way. Okay, this is the devil, man. So they have artificial wombs. They're saying that robots can now give birth to babies, human babies at that, not not no robot baby or nothing. No, they want people growing inside an artificial womb in the belly of a robot. Okay, and then you come out and they've messed with your genetics and they create their own version of a human based on the data that they receive by getting under your skin and learning, you know, deeper into the mind. They're learning deeper the depth of the human mind, man. Okay.
When people think about the future, very often they think in terms, oh, I want to gain control of my body and of my brain. And I think that's very dangerous. We have all this still myth of free will, that everything we choose is of our own free will. And this is a myth that served us well for a couple of centuries, but now it's becoming dangerous. We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens, because in the coming generations, we will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds. Now, how exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Now,
See, and they're saying that the people that rule the future are the ones that own the data, and that's why they're throwing up these data centers all over the world, these AI data centers, because they're storing mass information on the population, man, which takes a lot of power to generate, you know, these machines and stuff, man. You know, they're storing information. When you go on apps like Snapchat, that's a CIA experiment. Snapchat is basically to gather data on your facial through them cute little apps and stuff, making your, them filters or whatever. They're basically getting your facial expressions in every way possible, so that they can basically be able to tell who's who, even with a mask on your face out in public through their cameras, their AI CCTV cameras and stuff, man. But they're gathering data, basically it's all to they're stockpiling data for their agenda, basically. Okay.
Why is data so important? It's important because we've reached the point when we can hack not just computers, we can hack human beings and other organisms.
See, they're treating you like cattle. They just want to hack your brain, see what's going on underneath your skin, just like Trump said.
Now, what do you need in order to hack a human being? You need two things. You need a lot of computing power.
Them data centers, man, that they're throwing up over the world right now. That's why they're scrambling to get these things up and running, because this is the age we're coming into, man. We're in the last days. The Lord about to intervene because these people are going too far, man.
And you need a lot of data, especially biometric data. But control of data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. All of life, for 4 billion years, dinosaurs, amoebas, tomatoes, humans, all of life was subject to the laws of natural selection and to the laws of organic biochemistry. But this is now about to change.
All right, check where he's going with this. he's about to show his horns. Check this out.
Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design.
So they're saying the evolution, the way of the future, is to basically replace the Most High and His creation with what they created, what they consider intelligent design. Okay, this man's boasting of his heart's desire, man.
Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds.
Ooh, see? You see where he's going with this? It's the devil, man. It's the adversary. Okay? So when we say that these people are the devil, don't get up in your feelings, okay? Do more listening and understand what we're involved in, what we're trying to convey to you, the picture we're trying to paint. This is what's really happening. This is what's really going on, man. This is where we're at. These are the people that rule over us, man. And if they you're all screwed, man.
But our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds, the IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud, these are the new driving forces of evolution. And at the same time, science may enable life after being confined for 4 billion years to the limited realm.
Ain't no damn 4 billion years. That's cap, man. It's the wicked are strange from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born speaking. Like, ain't no damn 4 billion years. 6 billion years. Okay. The earth is only just over. It's about, yeah. It was created in 6,000 years, man. When it's 6 days, it's about 6,000 years, because a day, scriptures say, be not ignorant of this one thing, that a day to the Lord is like as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day. There ain't no damn billion years, man. Okay, there will be in the future, because the kingdom of heaven is forever. So 6 billion years from now, we'll still be in rulership, And then we can say, yeah, 6 billion years ago, da 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 da. But you can't say that now, okay?
Of organic compounds, science may enable life to break out into the inorganic realm.
Anyway, right, where are we at? Halfway. Now, if anyone wants the link to this I can give you on the comment board because this is a YouTube video, okay? So if anyone wants to watch the rest of this, all right, I'm gonna cut it short for now for the sake of time because I've got 1 or 2 more clips, but you can see what you can see the oh god you can see the mindset of these people, man, how they're getting down. They're defying the ways of the Lord and saying that they can do better, right? And the Bible speaks on this. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 25. It says, and he, meaning Esau, the devil, shall speak great words against the Most High. And that's what you just witnessed, that rhetoric that little gutter rat was speaking in that video. So they're speaking great words against the Most High. They're fulfilling this prophecy through their TED Talks and their WEF meetings and stuff, man. It says, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, okay? It says, and think to change times and laws, which they did. You know, you got leap years, you got them winding the clocks back. You got the Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar, always changing the damn calendar. It says, and they shall be given into his hand because he's ruling the earth. The scriptures say in Salakia, one sec. Coughing all in your ear, sorry. Salakia. Job 9, let's quickly just turn there and we'll come back. Job 9 and 24, right? And you got to read this with understanding. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? So this man is ruling the earth, the wicked. Okay, the Bible says whoever's ruling the earth, because the earth is given into the power of the power of the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The Bible's calling them the wicked. So them fake JEWs that call themselves JEWs, they're the ones that rule everything. They're the ones, even that's gutter rat weasel Noah Yuval Harari is a small hat. He's a fake JEW too. Okay, and they are the problem. And they're Edomites. Don't get it twisted, okay? Because the Edomites are all trying to blame them for their atrocities, and as if they're different people. They're the same people. Look at them closely, man. Right? So let's go back to Daniel 7 and 25. He shall speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Think to change times and laws, right? And they shall be given into his hand, because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, just like we read in Job 9:24. It's talking about the same people, the wicked. So it's given into their hand until a time and times and the dividing of time, okay? The dividing of time is the part and asunder of times, just like we read in the book of Second Ezra, chapter 6, earlier. Yeah, close that out. But anyway, I broke that down earlier, right? Which is talking about, you know, the time of the end of his rulership, you know, with so it's given into his hand until he's taken out power, in other words, right? Let's see if there's any. Yeah, it's good. Well, we might as well read the rest of this because this is the outcome. This is what the Lord gonna do to them. They're not getting away with this madness that they're planning. Daniel 7 and 26. But the judgment shall sit. Okay, the judgment is set in stone. They're not going to be acquitted. They're going to be destroyed. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Holy Bible, okay? It says, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. So Yahushai is coming to cut off that long disease. The physician is coming to cut off the long disease, the disease being Esau, Edom, okay? The Bible calls the so-called white man the cancer of the earth. You know, not in those exact words, but, you know, it says, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, meaning the earth, and the greatness of the earth shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. So the wicked currently have the earth, which is Esau. He's the end of the world, as pursuant to 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. But Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Jacob is the saints, which is you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, starting with the elect. You are the saints. It says, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. Theirs is temporary. It's almost over. It says, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. See? So the heathen are going to serve us and they're going to obey us. Okay? They're not going to be hand in hand with us in rulership. Okay? That's not what the kingdom of heaven is about. So we'll leave that there. Now, I want to show you something because we're here listening to this rhetoric from this gutter rat weasel. Let's just how long is that? 17 minutes. We'll play this one here, the short one. Check this out.
So do you believe in God?
No.
Okay, so you don't believe in God.
You see how everyone's smiling and clapping? Yeah, like they just praise this man's wickedness, man. This kingdom is so anti-Messiah. This is an anti-Hamashiach society we're living in, man. Okay, that's why we need to get the hell out of here. Okay, we don't belong here. Do you really wanna be a part of the future that they're trying to build?
God.
You know, the word is problematic. There are two kinds of gods in the world. And people tend to mix them. There is one God, the mystery God, about which we know nothing. The chief character.
You don't know nothing because you're not the people of the Lord, man. Now, no one can really truly understand the mind of the Lord. He's way above our understanding. But no understands the kingdom of heaven, okay? You got rats, especially you got rats. You don't understand jack shit.
Characteristic of this God is that he is mysterious, and humans can't understand and can't say anything about this God. And like people ask, I mean, who started the Big Bang? Or how did life start? And all the things that science doesn't know, people say, oh, this is God. And this is a mysterious God. The chief characteristic of the mysterious God is that we know nothing about him, or her, or it, and
or her. See, these people, they don't believe in the Bible at all. The Bible clearly states that the Lord is a man of war. all throughout the Bible, it calls him a he. It's a masculine energy. It's not no feminine energy. Okay, that's Sophia. That's wisdom. That's a feminine energy.
I'm perfectly happy with this God. Then there is a completely opposite kind of God, the concrete lawgiver God. And about this God, we know far too much. We know exactly what this God thinks about female fashion, about human sexuality, about who should you vote on election, everything.
These damn heathen, man, they make me sick. All of them. Look at them. You really want them on a chariot with you in the kingdom? You crazy. Get the hell out of here. Genesis are through.
And it's like a magic trick that you have a magician that tries to fool you, shows you one card, and then you don't notice it changes the card to some other card. So it's the same with God. When you ask people about God, they say, oh, it's a big mystery, and we don't know, and science can't explain this and that. Okay. And somehow they then switch gods and say, and because of this, women should put a hat on their head, and two men shouldn't have sex with one another.
See, because they're referring to the elect, because when he says, oh, and then they switch gods, you know, because we fled from Christianity and Cedric Borgia, the white Jesus they gave us, and we came into the true knowledge of the Bible, which is, you know, Yahweh Shai, and we now have the prophets to teach us the true understanding of the Bible, and we're correcting our women. We're telling them they got to have their head covered. when they pray, okay, and that, you know, two man on man action and women on women with women and studs and all that's abomination. We're correcting our people. We're showing people the right way, okay? And this is what he's basically making mockery of when he's spewing his rhetoric, man. Let me run that back slightly so you can hear it again.
A hat on their head.
Hold on a sec. Let me go back.
And saying because of this, women should put a
Hold on. Slightly more slightly. Let me just run it back. Right about that.
and we don't know and science can't explain this and that. Okay. And somehow they then switch gods and saying because of this, women should put a hat on their head and two men shouldn't have sex with one another. And
see, he don't see nothing wrong with that because he's an abominable man. The scriptures say, you know, the fool have said in his heart there is no most high, and they've done abominable works, and that includes this gut rat spewing this rhetoric. Let me just show you, because this man, this is, hold on, let me blow it up. This is him. The guy in the blue shirt is the one speaking, the gut rat, little scrawny weasel, and that's his boyfriend right there, his partner or husband. Just straight abomination, man, through. And this is the type of people with these mental sickness that we're supposed to, you know, take advice from, man. We're supposed to take advice from a flamer, a British cigarette. Give me a break, man. Okay, I'm not, you know, I'm sick of them trying to force us to believe and take advice from people that suffer from mental illness. Okay, look at that. Get the hell out. Get that. Let's go ahead and continue with this.
you should vote for this party or that party. And this is the dangerous trick. And this is the God in which I don't believe. I think that if there is a force.
That's because you're the wicked and you're estranged from the womb, man. You're not supposed to believe anyway, okay? If you're going to believe in any God, you're going to believe in a God that suits you. You're going to believe in white Jesus. You know? They're happily believing that. You try to tell them it's a so-called black man according to the Bible. Well, no, he's Middle Eastern. He was olive-toned. Anything but black, you know? I can't wait to see the look on their face when the Lord shows up. Lord willing.
If there is a force responsible for the great mystery of life and the universe and the black holes and the galaxies, I don't think he really cares about female dress code.
Ha 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 ha, it's so funny. Wise and clever. We aspire to be just like you. See? That's why we need to get the hell out of here, man, because this place ain't for us. We have no continuing city here, man. Let's bring this out. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 16. It says, but unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? So all these Edomite pastors, they normally turn out to be child molesters, and they have no problem with having a batty man up there at the pulpit trying to teach you the Bible, okay? Because they don't have the Holy Spirit, and they never will. It wasn't meant for them to read the Bible because they don't understand it. It's not for them, man. It's not for the wicked, and the Lord is making it plain and clear in this scripture. He said, the Lord is saying unto the wicked, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth? Because it ain't for you, okay? Let's prove that. Let's jump to the book of Romans, chapter 9. Jump right back. Let's start at 3. It says, this is Paul speaking. He says, for I wish that myself were accursed from Mashiach, from the anointed, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, right? According to the seed. So he's saying, I wish I was under the curses rather, I wish the curses came on me rather than my people, according to the seed line. And it says, who are Israelites, right? Because that's his people, according to the seed. It says, to whom pertaineth the adoption. So this is the Israelites are the ones that pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants. See, the covenants, just like we read in Psalms 50. Oh gosh, what the hell's going on? Psalms 50 and 16, what we read here, the Lord is saying, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? It ain't for you. We're reading it here in Romans 9 and 4. The Israelites are the ones that pertain of the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High, right? And the promises. So you have no business touching our Bible. Okay, it's for us, not you. Let's just go ahead and read the next verse, verse 5. It says, whose are the fathers, and of whom concerning the flesh the Lord came for. He came for the Israelites only. He didn't come for you nations, because you need to be put in subjection, man. You ain't the people of the Lord. You ain't got that. You ain't got the spirit of the Lord. You're not his chosen. You're not the chosen people. The chosen people is Satan. It says, who is over all, blessed forever, amen. So let's jump back. We're going to write this up soon. Right. So the Lord's saying, what business have you touching my book, or trying to teach the Bible, or, speak about the covenants and all that? You don't have the understanding. It's not for you. It says, seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee. And that's what he's doing in his little TED talk, his little interviews, man. Casting the ways of the law behind him. We don't need no God in the sky. Evolution, you're going to create our own God and, a world through intelligent design, he said, or whatever. He says, and when thou sawest a thief, thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. So, you people are hand in hand with thieves and adulterers, people that, cleave to other philosophies other than the truth. It says, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. And that's all they ever do, man. They just stay deceiving because, they were born crooked. It says in Psalms 50 and 20, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, because they're the accuser, the brethren. Okay, that's it's talking about, it's all about Jacob and Esau. When he's talking about he's sitting against his brother, it's the wicked, the so-called white man, speaking against the Israelites. So it's Esau speaking against Jacob. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Rebekah is the mother of Jacob and Esau, and they're slandering Rebekah's own son, meaning your blood brother. The Israelites, the brethren, the accuser of the brethren that the Bible speaks about. Okay. So let's just read a little bit more. There's a little bit more meat on this. This Psalms 50 and 21, it says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. So the Lord, has been long suffering and allowed you to get away with what you've been doing. But the Lord is about to rise, is rising up now against you. It says, thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. So you always thought the Lord was dealing with you because you haven't received consequences of your actions, and you think you're going to get away with it, man. You say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. It says, I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And that's what the Lord's doing now through the prophets, teaching us the right way, and we're being put in order right before your eyes, you devils. Okay, and it scares you. That's why you're scrambling, trying to get this new world order agenda on and popping, because you know that you don't have long left to rule pursuant to Revelations 12 and 12. It says he knoweth that he had a short time. You know, that's why he's coming down having great wrath, right? Is there any more meat on that? That's it. Second Ezra 9 and 20. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that would come into it. That's that 6G, the AI. You know, everything that Esau brings to the world, he weaponizes, or it's destructive to the environment, to the earth, you know, and it's destructive to society as a whole. Technology making people dumber, you know, and there's peril in the world because of the devices that come into it. I just thought I'd quickly bring that out. I was supposed to actually bring that out earlier, right? It says, come on, next verse, Second Ezra 9 and 21. And I saw and spared it greatly, and I've kept me a grape of the cluster and a plant of a great people. So that's talking about the elect. The Lord has preserved the ones that haven't bowed the knee to Baal. Okay, 7,000 men, a complete number of men. Yeah, a complete number of men that aren't going to bow down to your system, and you're going to listen to your rhetoric. They're going to see through your lies because they can't be deceived. Let's turn to Isaiah 14 and 12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Lucifer meaning the elites, the light bearers. How art thou fallen from heaven, meaning your rulership. Okay, this is a future prophecy. O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground that didst weaken nations? You know, you've weakened the nations in many ways through your rhetoric. It says, for thou hast said in thine heart, your mind, I will ascend into heaven. I read this earlier, but we're going to read it again. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, which is the elect. It says, and I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. And I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. See? So they're through their technology that they're trying to implement in this earth right now. Their agenda is to enslave everyone, rule over everyone perpetually through their microchip, and be all knowing, know what's going on the surface of the world, and know what's going on under the skin, know what's going on in your mind. They want to be like the Most High on the left-hand side, right? And this is their thought. And the Lord is saying, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, because they go straight into captivity where they belong. Okay. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. Like I said, if anyone wants any links to, that gutter rats videos and stuff, or if you want a link to that MOTB website that I pulled up earlier, breaking down how the Quran is a physical mark and all that, going into pure detail, let me know and I'll find a way to get that to you. Okay, because I can't put that in the description because it's an external link, and YouTube won't allow us to do that because they're scared of being revealed. But we'll find a way around that. We'll find a loophole. So anyway, I'm gonna close out here. Lord willing, you've been edified by this lesson. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. Shalom.